I've got a bit of a issue here with my Falcon. Um, Somebody I knew was driving behind me the other day, and they said, "I don't think your taillights are working. I don't think your brake lights are working, or your signal lights and stuff." And I thought, no, I'm pretty sure they work. And then later that day, somebody else was following me out of the parking lot where I was at work. And later on, I asked them, "When you were behind me, did you notice if my tail lights and stuff would dim, my signal lights?" He said, "Yeah, actually, I was going to say something to you. Like, maybe you should hit the brakes a little earlier or whatever, but you must have been hitting I don't know. I didn't notice the lights on the car. Um, I know they're dim. I know they're certainly not like modern lights. And so I doing a little investigation. I asked on my Facebook group, um, you know, are your taillights dim, and what do you do about it, and how do you solve that?" Now, the answer is yes. So what happens in these cars, here, I'll just show you. On these cars, and I suspect a lot of older cars from the 60s, you have smaller taillights in the back. People were just used to dimmer lights back then. You didn't have lights all the way across, unless it was a bigger, fancier car. On these cars, on either side, there's a single 1157 bulb in each one of these housings that acts as your tail light, your brake light, your signal light. On a Falcon, there's also the reverse light, which is right in kind of the middle of where the actual tail light bulb is behind that, and it's the reflector that puts the light out through the lens. So the obvious answer to making these bright is to put in some LED bulbs. So I've actually ordered some. I've ordered the bulbs. Right now, deliveries are a little strange. I don't know, they're taking a while to come in. So I am going to replace them with LED bulbs. And I ordered some pretty decent ones, and I'll update this when I get them, and we'll see what the difference is on those. I didn't just get the cheapest LED bulb, 1157 replacements you can get. I got a better kind, I forget what the name brand is, Oxmoto maybe, or something like that. Anyway, I paid a little more money because I wanted something fairly bright for these. I also ordered some 1156 and 1003 replacement bulbs too. You can get a 10-pack of those. That's what's used in the reverse bulb, I believe, but also the dome light's real dim, and the front signal lights. The other thing I had to order was an electronic flasher. This has got the old thermal style, and it probably isn't going to work with the LED bulbs. They don't draw enough current to make those thermal flashers work, but when I get all that stuff in, I'll make an update on that. But until that happens, I have another sort of solution, at least for now, but also would make it better later on. I asked on an online group, on a Facebook group for Falcons, about your dim lights and what you can do there. Apparently, behind this lens, there's a bucket that the bulb sits in, and those get corroded over time and dim and whatever, so they're not really reflecting much light. So I'll show you exactly what they're doing right now, and we'll take that off. I think I have a genius solution for brightening up these things. I guess we're going to find out together. So that is with the hazard lights on right now. So, and I know that at nighttime, obviously it would show up a little better, but I actually need these to be visible in the daytime when I'm actually driving the car. If I get right up to it, you can kind of see they're on, but yeah, they're dim. So I'm a little, ever since I heard that the other day, I've been kind of nervous about people behind me. Maybe they don't see I've got my brake lights on. Maybe they don't see I've got my indicator light on. Other side's the same thing. Actually, it's even worse. Depends on the angle you look at it. Yeah, that's dim. So I think I have a solution here. So I've got you inside the trunk right now, and you can see this is the bucket that holds the light. That's where the actual light is, the 1157 bulb. And this wire down here goes to the reverse bulb, which is kind of in the middle of this thing. It's a fairly deep dish, metal thing. The good part about these is like I've seen other cars I've taken off where it's a single plastic lens that contains all the lights. It looks like, or it appears like, I can just unbolt this here bracket, and it's separate from the actual lens itself. So my plan is to brighten up the inside of this. I had a couple people tell me in the online, take that out and paint it with a gloss white, or maybe chrome spray paint, or some people send it away to get it chromed, or they use some different things. I think I've got a pretty good solution for this. So let's get to getting this thing apart. Appears to be 1/2 inch nuts that hold this thing in, so obviously this has been apart because it took almost nothing to get going. I don't even need a socket for this top one. I mean, this stuff's obviously been apart before. That's the bulb. Something else is holding it. Appears to be glued in or something. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's just stuck. And that gets the whole thing out. You can see the lens itself comes out, and that's just held in with some screws. And voila. Okay, you can unplug this reverse light by pulling out these things. As long as I remember which is which. I guess that's how they reach, maybe. Okay, I've taken the whole bucket out of the car because it's a lot more convenient to do it outside of the car. It's not as corroded and horrible as I thought it was going to be, but it's definitely dirty and dim and not reflective. And the lens, over time, is also dusty and dirty. So I'm going to clean all this up, and then I've got another idea. Lens is a little inconvenient, and I could go further and take out the reverse thing. I'm not going to do that right now. I will have to do it later on when I go to replace the reverse bulb, but for now I'm just going to I'm not using anything special here. This is just glass cleaner. but I can see that the finish on the inside of this bucket is dull and not shiny, not reflective. And I suspect that's a big part of the problem. One of the other things I've done is I've ordered those bulbs to replace in the car, but I also don't have any dashboard lights right now, and I believe it's the dimmer switch on the light switch. It doesn't seem to be. It feels wrong when you're spinning it, and so I think the light switch itself is actually worn out. So I ordered a new one of those. The good part about these Ford Falcons is that it's super cheap to buy anything. The light switch assembly, the whole thing, dimmer and all, was I think 27 bucks. And, you know, LED bulbs. Inside of this isn't too bad. Like, it doesn't get too dirty because it is semi-sealed. But I'm here, so I might as well clean her up a little bit. Yeah, the lens is actually in pretty good shape. But I don't know if you can see that, but the bucket itself, it's not rusted and corroded and stuff, and you know, I'm cleaning it off a little bit, but it is, it's not shiny. It's not really reflective. And I know that bulb is old, and I know it's going to be replaced, but I have another idea here too that's going to help this. So my genius plan is to line that with this reflective safety tape stuff. It's all white, as you can see. If you've ever seen this stuff, it's like super bright. Any lights on it really do reflect a lot. I heard maybe use like silver tape inside, or chrome paint, or you know, white glossy spray paint. I think this will be better than all of that. I don't know. We're gonna find out. In case you're wondering, I just bought this at Canadian Tire. I didn't order it or anything. It was. If you're American, you can probably find this at, you know, whatever your Canadian Tire equivalent is, O'Reilly's or AutoZone, or I'm not sure what you have down there. Any hardware store probably, actually. True Value, not sure. So I don't know how this is going to go, but I'm thinking I'm putting in some strips. Maybe it'd be better side to side. Yeah, I think so. Side to side strips. There's no magic to this. It's a frustrating part of this stuff is getting the backing off of it. There we go. So there it is. Yeah, it's not perfect. Nobody's ever going to see that, but I'm hoping that that'll make a big difference on the reflectivity of the inside anyway. I know the bulb's still dim, but it should even make a bigger difference when the LED's installed. So let's go put this back in the car and see if there's a difference at all with the current bulb. Okay, moment of truth. I've got it all buttoned up and back in the car, that one side. I want to see how that looks, and we can compare it to the other side. See if it made any difference at all. I don't have high hopes. I really do need better bulbs. So anyway, let's see what happens. Here's the old one. Still kind of dim and crummy looking. And well, it's marginally better. I'd say it's marginally better. It's not bright. Let me try all the lights and stuff. Now, you'll notice that the hazards flash pretty quickly, and I'm getting a new electronic flasher anyway. Okay, so lights are off. That's brake on, brake off, left blinker on, right blinker on, foot on the brake, left blinker on, foot on the brake, right blinker on. So it's a marginal difference. I could see a difference. This one is slightly brighter than the one I haven't done yet. It's more even, I think would be the term. It's more evenly lit up. Still not what I would call bright enough, and I think the new bulbs are going to make all the difference, but to even give them a better chance, I think this is a worthwhile upgrade to do. You know, the bucket obviously wasn't reflective at all. That should help a lot. I'll try this later at night, see if it's any brighter at night, but really it's the daytime I'm kind of concerned with, because that's when I'm doing most of my driving, and I need people in back of me to see what I'm doing. So yeah, so I'll just have to wait for the new LED lights, and we'll do a comparison. I'll do a comparison when I get those, and that should be remarkably different. These old 1157 single bulbs just aren't, they're just not that bright. And it could also be, I had a comment about the headlight switch, and the guy said he replaced his headlight switch and he couldn't believe how much brighter his lights were, because the headlight switch itself could be a problem. I'm not sure how that would affect brake lights and stuff. I didn't imagine they were going through that circuit, but maybe they are. I don't know. It's not the grounds. It's nothing like that. I've checked that. They're just dim. Anyway, I'm going to get my other one done, and thanks for watching.